Did you know that around 80% of children experience setbacks during the potty training process? So really what we consider as setbacks, I think, is just par for the course, right? It's just part of the process. There's a lot of taking a step forward and then taking a couple steps backwards and then taking a couple steps forward throughout the potty training journey. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the phrases we want to avoid while we are potty training. Now, quick shout out, if you're watching this video around the time that it comes out, I will be teaching a live potty training class in a couple weeks, very soon. Just check the description box for all of the details. In this class, I'm going to be covering a wide range of topics as it relates to potty training, including how to get ready, how to know when your child is ready for potty training, how to mentally prepare ourselves for potty training, to, how to do the actual process, how to prepare for setbacks, how to handle accidents, nighttime potty training. I'm going to cover it all. And I'm also going to be taking questions live so that I can answer your particular situation. So definitely be on the lookout for that class. Check the description box for all the details. If you're watching it after the video, hopefully I have something helpful for you down in the description box that you can go to. Also, quick shout out to my potty training book. I have written an entire book about potty training, so definitely check out this book if you're like, I can't wait for the class, I need some help now. Check it out, available mostly where all books are sold. So check the links in the description if you'd like to check out my potty training book. And shout out to all the wonderful people out there who have supported the book and left an honest rating and review on Amazon particularly. I really, really appreciate you. It really helps me out so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's dive into the things that we should never say while potty training. Okay, number one, we should never say, it's okay, after they have an accident. Because, well, is it okay? What we don't want to reinforce is the idea that accidents are quote unquote okay. Now, of course, just like I led with this episode, accidents are par for the course, right? Accidents are part of the process because your child is learning a new skill, and learning is not linear, right? Learning, we don't just, start down at the bottom and then we shoot our way up at the top, right? We go through some dips and things along the way, some struggles and some mistakes, and that's part of how we learn, right? And so potty training is no different. However, right, and we have to be mindful of our language as parents because it's powerful. And so what we don't want to do is set the stage for, oh, it's okay. Like, accidents are just okay. Because truth be told, right, we are working towards learning to put our pee and poop in the potty. So how we handle accidents is really, really, really important. I actually have a whole video, which I'll link right now on if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching it on the podcast, go over to my YouTube channel because I have a whole video on how do we handle potty accidents, okay? And instead, what we should be focusing on, though, in the moment is saying what you see without judgment, right? Ooh, I see pee on the floor. Oops, I see poo-poo in your diaper. Or which we shouldn't be having diapers, by the way, unless they're sleeping, okay? But, this is what I see, and this is where it goes, right? Nope, pee-pee and poo-poo go in the potty. Let's go try again, what have you, okay? Okay, so this second phrase we should avoid saying while potty training is, I'll clean it up, don't worry, I'll clean it up. No, 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 okay? I don't care if you have a small toddler or a preschooler. We should always strive to involve them in the process of cleaning up, right? This is their accident, this is their mess, and it's not that we're mad or upset and that we're doing this in a punitive way. It's more of like a cause and effect, right? And this is messes in general, really, but we're talking about potty training, so we'll just keep it to the potty training accidents. If they have an accident, they need to be involved in the cleanup process. So you can say something like, I'll grab the towels and you can help me clean it up, right? And you can, whether you want to clean it up first and then have them come behind you, or you want them to clean it up first and then you come behind them, or you do it, then they do it, then you do it, however you want to do it, right? And every accident is a little bit different in terms of what it takes to clean up the accident, but you want to involve them in the process. This is very, very important. It's very important for them to understand that, one, they made a mistake, they had an accident, which is par for the course, of course, right? And we're just going to observe what we see, and then they have to be, number two, they have to be involved in the problem solving process, right? That they are going to clean it up. It's a cause and effect thing, okay? And this is part of them learning, to put their pee and poop in the potty when there's a natural consequence that they have to clean up their mess, or a logical consequence, really. Then they come to understand, okay, I really understand I need to put the pee and the poop in the potty. That's way less, one, messy, and involves less time, and then I get more time to play, okay? But they have to be involved in the process. All right, the third phrase that we want to avoid saying is, do you want to go to the potty? Do you have to go to the potty? Now, I'm thinking more of the early potty trainers in particular. As our child gets older and they master the skill, then of course we're going to trust in them to listen to their body and to go to the restroom. But I talk about this a lot in my book, and I'll talk about this in my upcoming class, that especially in the beginning, what our child needs help with is developing a potty training routine, right? This is before potty training, they didn't have a routine, right? They peed and pooped whenever they felt like it. And there was no consequence, obviously, because they had a diaper, right? And then we cleaned up their messes for them. So when we start the potty training journey, what we have to develop with them is a routine around potty training, and they need our help with this, right? We can't expect our child to take the lead on this because they don't know, right? They're still learning. And so their job is to sit on the potty and try, and our job is to help them get to the potty. In the early days, I'm thinking in particular, right? So when we ask, though, do you have to go to the potty? Often, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say no. Why is it? Not necessarily because they don't have to go potty, but because they're doing something that's way funner than going potty, right? Often they're eating a snack, they're playing with a toy, I don't know, they're watching a screen, they're hanging out with you, I don't know, they're doing something else. But 9 times out of 10, whatever they're doing is way funner than going to the potty, right? And it's a hard skill to stop one thing to do something else, right? And to delay gratification and all of that. So we have to lead them in this process by just saying, hey, it's time to go to the potty. Okay, and I talk about, what we can do is use when-then statements. Okay, when we go to the potty, then we can go back to playing. When we go to the potty, then we can head out the door to go to the store, whatever it is. But we have to set the stage, and we're not asking them. It's more of, okay, it's time to go potty. Now, I'm thinking in the situation where they're like, oh, but I don't have to go, Oh, I understand you don't have to go, but let's try. Let's just sit on the potty. Now, we're not making them sit for minutes on end. A couple seconds is fine. And then we praise that, right? We acknowledge that. We encourage that. Thank you so much for trying. You didn't have to go, but I really appreciate that you tried, because we're about to head out the door. Right? And I would much rather you pee in the potty than if we have to, if we're out and about, right? So just kind of teaching them, I'm thinking ahead. I understand and I trust that you are listening to your body, and it's time to go potty at the same time, especially when it's the early days, it's the early weeks of potty training. The fourth phrase we want to avoid saying while potty training is, tell me when you have to go. Okay, this goes with the third phrase, right? Just tell me, right? I'm trusting in you to tell me. I'm thinking of the child too who's having accidents. And then what I see happen is the child is having accidents, but then at the same time the parent or the caregiver is trusting in the child to tell them when they have to go potty. And if your child is showing you that they are struggling in potty training, whether that be with accidents or what have you, it's on us again to set that routine and to get them on more of a schedule, right? They're showing with their behavior that they need more help, that they need more guidance, and no worries, right? Again, this is all par for the course. Nobody's in trouble, but I'm gonna help you now, right? I'm not going to put this all on you to tell me when you have to go potty. I'm gonna be that calm, confident leader. I'm gonna keep you on this schedule, and we're just gonna go. It's just part of our routine, okay? The fifth phrase we wanna avoid saying while potty training is, she's going to the potty or he's going to the potty, why can't you, right? It's that flavor of comparison that I want us to avoid, right? Or you went to the potty yesterday, why can't you go today? That's also a comparison, right? You were doing so good the other day, what happened to you now? Basically, I'm unhappy with you now is the flavor, right? Is the energy that we are bringing to the table. Why do we want to avoid this? Well, this puts pressure on our child, right? Immediately they register this as a criticism, because it is. And then they start to feel bad about themselves. Then they start to beat themselves up. It might not look like it on the surface, but it's very hard to change our behavior when we feel bad about ourselves. And I know where this comes from. This comes from overwhelm. This comes from frustration. This comes from confusion, right? Man, your sister was so good at potty training. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? What are you doing wrong? How do we get back on track? Or you were doing so good yesterday and now you're not. And what's going on, right? There's a lot of confusion, frustration, overwhelm. And so I get where it's coming from, but we want to be very mindful not to put our feelings onto our child. We don't want them to be all confused and overwhelmed and frustrated with themselves. What we want to do is be as encouraging as possible during this potty training journey, and not to negate that this is hard, right? It's very hard for everybody involved, right? Because again, we're learning something new, and this requires setbacks and accidents, and that can be hard to deal with in the moment, especially when we have so many other things on our plate, right? Especially when we're trying to get out the house, we're trying to go on an outing, we got company over, or they just peed on our rug and we're like, oh my goodness, right? The whole place is gonna smell like pee, what have you, right? It's hard. This is not easy, and we want to be mindful of the language that we're using. So we want to be mindful not to compare our child, whether it's the version of themselves yesterday or the day before, or to another child, right? Because that just moves us back even more. And then the last phrase, again, going along with phrase number 5. Number 6 is, saying, oh, I'm so frustrated, right? Or showing that frustration. Again, I know this is a lot easier said than done, but I just want us to realize that the more impatient that we get, the more frustrated that we get, the more anger we bring to the situation, the harder it is for our child to learn, okay? Knowing that when our child registers that we are disappointed in them, that we're angry at them, or what have you, right? Any negative emotion, that they perceive it as threat, and then their frontal lobe literally goes offline, their amygdala gets hijacked, and now their emotional brain is on, right? And they're only thinking about protecting ourselves. And this is what we all do when we register a threat. And so we don't want to be our child's threat during this potty training experience, right? Because it makes it harder for them to learn. It actually just continues the cycle. I actually talk about this in my discipline workshop as it relates to discipline. There's so many overlaps here when we think about quote unquote discipline and behavior, seeing better cooperation, and potty training. I mean, the two overlap in so many ways, because what we're trying to teach our child is a new skill. Just similar, I'm thinking if we're trying to teach our child how to use their words and communicate when they feel angry, in potty training we're trying to teach our child how to listen to their body, and listen to those cues that they have to go potty and then put their pee and poop in the potty, right? And so just like with any skill, it's very hard for kids to learn when they're being hijacked in their fight or flight part of their brains, right? They are not going to be thinking. Their memory is going to be really hard. It's going to be hard for them to remember things. It's going to be hard for them to think rationally, delay gratification. I mean, all of that higher order thinking that is required to learn new skills, it's just not going to be available to them when they are under stress, okay? This is why, and I don't want to digress too much, if your child is experiencing stress in a different area of their life, it's not uncommon for them to regress in potty training, right? And start having more accidents, because learning is a lot harder, right? It's a lot harder to shore up all of those areas of their brain that's required for learning a new skill when they're under stress, okay? Again, check out my video on how to handle potty training accidents if that's something that you're struggling right now. But I just want us to, again, be more mindful and, be easy with ourselves, offer ourselves grace when we mess up, okay? This is not an either or thing. This is not a perfection rant. This is more of just being mindful of the energy that we bring while we are on this journey with our child, right? While we are guiding our child and teaching our child this new skill. And that we just want to avoid those phrases, oh, I'm so frustrated, or even what we communicate in our nonverbal communication. I think language is about, 70% nonverbal. So it's not really always just about what we say. It's about the energy that we bring, right? It's about our mood and really being mindful of the overall mood and energy that we're bringing to this process of potty training, okay? Not to say if your child's having accidents, it's all on you, right? And you're messing up. It's just be mindful, okay? And I know it's hard, right? Potty training is a process. But you can do it, okay? And I believe in you. And if you are struggling, or if you have a question for me and you want my feedback and input, or you want some more information about potty training, check out my upcoming class. I'm calling it the Potty Training Boot Camp, okay? And I really hope to see you there. And again, thank you so much for watching or listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.